Your girl just broke up with you on TikTok, bro live. That's the first thing I heard when I walked into the campus library. I thought it was a joke, until I saw half the student lounge gathered around someone's phone, snickering like it was primetime TV. Then I heard her voice. Jonathan and I are done, he doesn't understand my lifestyle anymore. There she was, Diane. Flawless makeup, teary-eyed, fake sniffles. The caption? Breaking up with my boyfriend, on camera crying face broken heart #relatable. The next clip hit harder. A voice off camera asked, so this breakup is real? Diane smirked, wiped a fake tear, and whispered, sure, he doesn't know yet. Everyone watching laughed. Everyone, except me. She hadn't texted. Hadn't called. I'd just helped her edit a vlog 2 nights ago. I stared at the screen. My face, blurred out in the background of her last thumbnail. Her newest comment read, broke up with him before he could break up with my view count. The likes kept climbing. She was trending. I was discarded. I stepped outside. The air was cold, but not as cold as the silence in my chest. My phone buzzed. A classmate sent me a clip. Diane dancing in her room, lip-syncing, when you dump a broke dude and gain 10k followers overnight, medium light skin tone, nail polish hand. That's when I knew. This wasn't a breakup. It was a rollout. I wasn't a boyfriend. I was a storyline. And the worst part? I made her thumbnails. I built her transitions. I color graded her fakery. I was the post-production team for my own public humiliation. I didn't cry. I didn't call her. I walked home, opened my laptop, and stared at the timeline of her apology video. The one she'd filmed months ago after a sponsorship nearly dropped her. The one she told me never to upload. In it, she said, Jonathan. I know I act like everything's content, but I'm scared. I don't know who I am when I'm not viral. Please don't leave me. She cried in that one. Real tears. No music. No edits. I never uploaded it. I kept it safe. Until now. I cracked my knuckles, dragged the apology file into a new sequence, and clicked play. If Diane wanted content, I'd give her the trailer of a lifetime. Before Diane started chasing the algorithm, we used to sit on campus rooftops and share instant noodles from a single paper cup. She wore oversized hoodies back then, no makeup, just chapstick and a pen always tucked behind her ear. She said she wanted to be real. That's the word she used the most, real. I remember the first time I saw her recording a video, just her and her phone, nothing fancy. She was asking people what love meant to them. That's what pulled me in. Not the camera, not the views, her voice. Calm. Curious. She listened to strangers like their stories actually mattered. And I thought, here's someone who gets it. I'm Jonathan. Media major, full scholarship. I don't dress fancy, don't party much, don't speak unless it matters. I've got a habit of noticing things most people overlook. Like how Diane's laugh changed after her first brand deal. Or how she started checking analytics mid-conversation. Or how she stopped using the word real altogether. I was the one who taught her how to edit her videos properly. Color grading, jump cuts, audio balance. I'd spend nights at her desk adjusting shadows under her eyes so she'd look bright but untouched. She used to sit beside me, legs curled up on the chair, sipping canned coffee while watching me work. Make me look like myself, she'd whisper. I always did. Even when she didn't. Our relationship wasn't loud. We weren't the kind of couple who posted couple selfies with cheesy hashtags. Diane said she liked it that way, private. I want something that's mine, not the internet's, she told me once. That was before 10k followers. Before the first viral prank. Before Richard. Richard was loud. Always shirtless in videos, always screaming into the mic. The kind of guy who'd fake a seizure just for a laugh. He started showing up in Diane's stories. At first, it was just collabs. Then, acting boyfriend bits. Then real boyfriend rumors. I confronted her once. You kissed him on camera, I said. It's scripted, she laughed, like I was being childish. You know how this works. We create emotion. She kissed my cheek after saying that. And I tried to believe her. But you can only ignore a crack so long before it splits the whole wall open. Maria was the only one who didn't buy into the performance. She wasn't part of Diane's crowd. She was quiet, always reading, always watching. The kind of girl who sat at the back of the lecture hall and still scored higher than anyone. We had a class together, script writing and cinematic narratives. She once leaned over and said, "You edit Diane's stuff, right?" I nodded. "Do you like the version of her you see on camera?" I didn't answer. But she already knew. After the breakup prank went live, she was the first one who didn't laugh. She just looked at me and said, "That's cruel." She wasn't jealous. She wasn't interested in me. Maria just had this sharp moral compass, like a magnet that couldn't point anywhere but north. She once said, "Not everything real needs to be filmed." It stuck with me. Especially when Diane did the opposite. When she began filming breakdowns that weren't hers. Fake therapy sessions. Made-up trauma stories. All for content. The worst part was how normal it had all become. How Diane's audience, millions of strangers, praised her for being raw, brave, and honest. Honest. That word used to mean something to me. Now it just sounded like a trending tag. I watched her change piece by piece. First the voice, higher, bubblier. Then the wardrobe, branded, fitted, photogenic. Then the friends, louder, faker, curated. I stayed silent. Because I thought I loved her. Because I thought maybe she'd come back to the rooftop girl in the hoodie. She didn't. One night I asked, "When was the last time you made a video just for yourself?" She blinked. Then said, "Jonathan, people don't care about personal anymore. They want characters." That's when I knew. She didn't just change. She cast herself. And I was just the off-screen crew. The guy behind the lens. The boyfriend you blur in the background. The name you don't tag. Still, I stayed. Because I thought maybe, deep down, Diane would see what she'd become. That one day, the clicks would stop mattering and she'd want real again. Real stories. Real love. Real moments. But that hope ended the moment she posted our breakup without telling me. The moment she turned me into content. Without consent. Without dignity. She scripted my humiliation. Live. I didn't respond publicly. Didn't tweet. Didn't comment. But I did open my files. And I did find that one video she never shared. The one with her in sweats, sitting on the floor, mascara smudged. No script. No acting. Just her saying, "I'm scared I'm becoming someone I hate. Please don't leave me." The girl in that video wasn't viral. She was vulnerable. And for the first time in months, honest. That's when I made my decision. I wouldn't fight her with words. I wouldn't expose her with clickbait. I'd let her expose herself. With her own footage. Her own tears. Her own truth. And I'd deliver it exactly the way she taught me. Packaged. Timed. Beautifully edited. But this time, it wouldn't be content. It would be closure. The premiere of her prank video hit 1 million views in less than 6 hours. It was clipped, captioned, re-uploaded by commentary channels, and even featured on a viral Top 5 Savage Breakups compilation. Strangers laughed. Others defended her. One comment read, "Honestly iconic. Queen energy. He deserved it for being so bland." I read that one 3 times. Bland? Because I didn't fake tears on cue. Because I stayed behind the lens. Because I built, edited, and uploaded her dreams while staying out of frame. Now I was the punchline. Diane didn't call, didn't apologize. Instead, she uploaded a TikTok 12 hours later where she lip-synced to a breakup song with text over her. "When you outgrow your relationship but he's still editing your content for free." My phone buzzed every 5 minutes. Friends. Classmates. Even my thesis advisor. Is this part of a skit? Was that real? Why would she post that? I had no answers. I walked into the media lab the next morning and found Richard at my usual station. My seat. My software presets. My calibrated monitor. "Sup, legend," he said without looking up. "You got bumped from editing this week. Diane said I'm taking over." He pointed at the raw files loaded into the timeline. My presets. My LUTs. My project folder. I didn't say a word. I just backed out of the room. Outside, I sat on the bench behind the studio. The one with all the initials carved into it. Ours was still there, J+D. I remember the day she used her dorm keys to scratch it in, saying, "This'll still be here when we're famous." We weren't famous. She was. I was just footage on a server. Discarded. Maria found me later that day. She sat down without asking and handed me a paper cup of lemon tea. "I saw the video," she said softly. I nodded. She crossed a line. Another nod. "Are you okay?" I didn't answer. After a pause, she added, "You look like someone who wants to say something but is too proud to say it." "I don't want revenge," I finally said. "I want resolution." Maria looked at me like she understood something I hadn't yet admitted to myself. "She weaponized your silence," she said. That sentence stuck with me for days. Then came the message from Diane. A single text. "No hard feelings, right? Hope we can still collab in the future. Red heart hash." My thumb hovered over the keyboard. No hard feelings? I clicked her profile. Pinned post, POV, you fake a breakup and your ex actually starts acting like it's real face with tears of joy black scissors hash. Another one, he's so mad, LOL. I gave him content and a character arc. She wasn't done. She was just getting started. That's when I opened the apology file. The one she filmed 6 months ago after a scandal where she had faked a donation to an animal shelter and got called out by a fan account. She'd sobbed into the lens for 12 minutes, whispering, I feel like I'm losing myself. I just wanted to inspire people. I didn't mean to lie. She told me not to upload it because the tears weren't pretty enough. I'd saved it anyway. I wasn't sure why until now. I began cutting. Not with anger. With precision. I built a contrast, her laughing in the breakup video versus her sobbing in the apology. Over it, I added voiceover. This is Diane. This is what she doesn't post. This is the girl behind the filters. No insults. No accusations. Just, her. I called the video The Real Diane. Dropped it at midnight. No tags. No captions. Just truth. It spread without help. The reaction was instant. Comments flooded in. Wait, she was actually scared. This hits different. Why did she never post this herself? Diane's DMs must have caught fire. She texted me again. You're making me look bad. That was private. I replied, so was our relationship. By the next day, 3 sponsors had quietly pulled their affiliate links from her bio. Richard posted a story with the caption, wasn't aware of all that. Taking a step back. The internet, so fast to crown her, now turned as quickly. But this wasn't revenge. This was balance. Diane tried damage control. She uploaded a new video, her in a white dress, seated under soft lighting. I never meant to hurt anyone. This is all being taken out of context. She tried to cry. Nothing came out. The top comment read, you had real tears before. Why not post those? The second, the internet already met the real you. She called me at 3 a.m. I let it ring. Then silence. Then a voicemail. Jonathan, please. You know me. Don't let this ruin me. But I did know her. And that's why I couldn't save her this time. Maria met me in the library later that week. You look lighter, she said. I'm not, I replied. I just stopped carrying someone else's weight. She smiled. Good. Maybe now you can carry your own. She slid a folder toward me. Inside were screenshots, Diane mocking fans in private DMs. I didn't ask how she got them. I didn't need more fire. The flames were already high enough. I asked Maria one thing. Was I really that blind? She sipped her tea before answering. You weren't blind, she said. You were loyal. Same thing. Not quite, she said. One's a choice. The other's a mistake. I sat there long after she left, staring at the messages, at the edits, at the weight of what had just begun. Diane thought she ended a relationship. She didn't know she started a reckoning. I didn't expect the silence to be this loud. The day after the trailer went viral, my phone didn't stop buzzing, but no one called to check if I was okay. They just wanted reactions. Drama. Updates. Gossip. Some people thought it was a marketing stunt. Others thought I was just bitter. Even the people who sided with me still only saw it as a win in a fight I never wanted. It wasn't a win. Not for me. I walked past the same places we used to hang out, outside the student cafe, the steps near the humanities block, the courtyard where Diane first made me hold her camera while she posed like a candid goddess. Now every corner echoed like a rerun of a show I couldn't shut off. Every part of this campus felt like a location from our episodes. I stopped replying to texts. Ignored messages from classmates. Turned off all notifications. It wasn't peace. It was numbness. Part of me kept waiting for Diane to show up, face to face, and scream or beg or ask why. But she didn't. She sent long paragraphs. Guilt-laced apologies followed by blame-laced accusations. She said I betrayed her. That I took something raw and human and turned it into a weapon. That line stuck with me. She thought I used her video as a weapon. She forgot that she'd been filming with loaded cameras the entire time. I stayed up late watching the old clips I had on my hard drive. Not the posted ones. The drafts. The outtakes. The ones she didn't approve because she blinked too much or her hair didn't fall right or her crying looked ugly. In every raw take, I saw pieces of a person she used to be. Or maybe pretended to be. I couldn't tell anymore. I didn't miss her. I missed the version I believed in. And then came the guilt. Had I gone too far? Did I destroy someone's future out of ego? Was I any different than her, crafting a story for emotional response? I asked Maria. We sat on a bench outside the library, watching leaves fall across the pavement like slow, silent edits. Did I make things worse? I asked. Maria didn't answer immediately. She stared ahead, tapping her pen against her book. Maybe, she said eventually. But maybe it needed to get worse before it could get better. For her? For you. I didn't want revenge, but I couldn't lie to myself. I did feel relief. A part of me wanted her to feel what I felt. Humiliated. Small. Disposable. But that part of me scared me. That wasn't the guy I used to be. There were moments I thought about deleting the trailer. About going live and telling everyone to stop harassing her. But then I'd open my inbox and see the messages from people who'd been through the same thing. I felt this. She did to you what mine did to me. This helped me walk away. They weren't looking for drama. They were looking for closure. Maybe that's what the video really was, not a dagger, but a mirror. Still, the shame lingered. I'd spent so long being the quiet one, the helper, the fixer. Now I was the guy who exposed his ex and went viral for it. The same machine I once supported now carried my face as a thumbnail. My reputation changed overnight. Some girls on campus started looking at me differently, flirty, curious. "You're the trailer guy, right?" one asked. I didn't even answer. Just walked away. That wasn't who I was. Not who I wanted to be. I missed editing for passion. Telling stories no one watched. Making things that didn't need likes or shares. I opened an old folder from a short film I abandoned last year. It was a silent piece, two people meet, connect, part ways without saying a word. No monologues. No confessions. Just looks. I remembered why I started it. Because not everything has to be said to be understood. I spent the night working on it again. For no reason. No deadline. No audience. Just for myself. It felt good. Around 2 a.m., I got another message from Diane. This one wasn't angry or defensive. It was just a link. She uploaded a video called "The Other Side of the Story." It was 10 minutes of her crying. Real tears, maybe. She talked about feeling abandoned, manipulated, misunderstood. She didn't mention me by name. But everyone knew. The comments were mixed. Some supportive. Some brutal. I didn't comment. I just sat there, staring at the screen, unsure if I felt anything at all. Was this closure? Was this growth? Why didn't it feel like either? I shut the laptop and walked out onto the street. The city was quiet. For once, no sounds of laughter, no voices blaring from phone screens. Just silence. Stillness. I remembered something Maria once said in class, quoting a director. Sometimes the most powerful part of a story is the scene you choose not to film. I stood on the empty sidewalk and breathed in the cold air. No camera. No lights. No audience. Just me. Still trying to figure out what part of this story was truly mine. I thought the worst was over. The video was out. The backlash landed. The silence followed. But then, 10 days later, Maria knocked on my door, something she'd never done before. She looked pale. "There's something you need to see," she said, holding out her phone. It was a clip. Posted by Richard. Title, "Behind the Scenes, the Real Trailer Drama." In it, he sat in front of a ring light, faking concern like it was a makeup tutorial. He claimed I had edited the trailer maliciously. That Diane's original apology was stolen footage. That I'd always been jealous of her success. He even suggested I'd doctored her voice. "I just think people should see both sides," he said with that smug, manufactured sincerity. But the real blow came after. He uploaded a second video. Footage from Diane's iCloud. Clips of me. At my desk. In her room. Laughing with her. Saying things I never meant for public ears. Things like, "I guess no one watches our early stuff anymore." And, "Maybe I'm just background noise in your spotlight." It was taken out of context, but it didn't matter. To the internet, it looked like proof. Diane hadn't posted the video, but she hadn't stopped it either. The comments returned, sharper than before. So he was bitter all along. Manipulative editor gets exposed. He's just mad he wasn't the main character. I turned off my Wi-Fi for 3 days. Didn't check messages. Didn't step outside. On the 4th day, I met Maria in the library. "They're rewriting the story," I said. She nodded. "Because they know how. They're performers. That's what they do." "I never wanted to fight," I muttered. "But now you're in a war," she replied. "And wars aren't won by staying quiet." I had one thing left. Something Diane forgot I kept. The full raw footage of her private meltdown. Unedited. From 3 different camera angles. Complete with timestamp. Metadata. Her voice shaking as she begged me not to show the world who she really was. I'd always told myself I'd never use it. It was cruel. It would destroy her. But now, she was destroying me. Piece by piece. I opened the folder. Maria stood beside me, silent. I hovered over the file. My fingers shook. "This isn't who I want to be," I whispered. "Then don't be," Maria said. "But make sure she can't erase who you really are either." That night, I didn't upload the footage. I uploaded a different video. A silent timeline. Clips of Diane filming her real moments. Side by side with her public videos. No commentary. No music. Just raw contradictions. The truth, quiet, undeniable. By morning, I didn't just have views. I had witnesses. By the end of the week, the internet split itself down the middle. Half called me a victim. Half called me a manipulator. And the worst part? Diane still hadn't said anything. Not really. No statement. No live stream. Just a series of muted, healing, aesthetic posts, sunlight through windows, candles, books, flowers, peace sign selfies under filtered skies. Like she was mourning her online reputation instead of what she'd done. But she was building something. That much I could tell. Maria noticed it first. "She's planning a comeback," she said, sliding her phone across the cafe table. A new teaser trailer on Diane's alt account. Just 5 seconds long. A close-up of her face, lip quivering, eyes glassy with controlled tears. Text overlaid, "This is my truth." Premiere 9 p.m. I checked the time. 7:03 p.m. "I need to be there," I muttered. Maria raised an eyebrow. "There?" "Her dorm," I said. "I know her. She won't be able to resist watching her own premiere." "Jonathan. She's going to lie. Again. I'm not letting her rewrite everything while people forget what actually happened." Maria didn't try to stop me. She just nodded. "Then go. But be ready. The version of her you find might not be the one you remember." The walk to her dorm felt longer than usual. I passed by students watching her countdown trailer on their phones, earbuds in, faces locked in anticipation. 9 p.m., and Diane was about to premiere her biggest role yet. I reached the door. Her hallway was quiet. Too quiet. I knocked. Once. Then again. The door creaked open. She stood there in a silk robe, perfectly lit by a ring light in the corner. Lip gloss on. Red under-eye tint to fake exhaustion. "You really came," she said softly. "I'm not here to argue," I said. "Just to watch." She stepped aside. The room was staged. 2 chairs facing each other. Camera on tripod. Mics clipped. One lens pointed at me. "Already filming?" I asked. She nodded. "I want this to be raw. Then stop editing the lighting." She blinked. Didn't smile. "We Saturday." I could hear my own heartbeat through the silence. Then she started. "I want to apologize," she said, eyes blinking slow. "Not just for the prank video. But for not seeing how I was affecting the people I loved." I didn't interrupt. She continued. "You were always there for me. You helped me. You protected me. And I took that for granted. I used you." A pause. "And I'm sorry." It sounded like a real apology. But then her hand subtly tapped her phone, cueing the camera to zoom. And I saw it. That flicker of calculation behind the tears. "Diane," I said quietly. "Is this really about me, or is it about the narrative?" She hesitated. Her eyes locked with mine. Then she exhaled. "Both?" I stood up. "So this is your finale, then?" She looked confused. "I didn't come here to be part of your video," I said. "I came to give you a choice." She stayed seated, lips parted. "I have everything," I continued. "The full apology video. The metadata. The text logs. Proof of what was real. What was fake. I haven't used it. I still don't want to. But if you lie again tonight, you'll post it?" she whispered. "No," I said. "I'll send it privately. To your sponsors. Your family. The schools that invited you to speak." Her voice trembled. "That's blackmail." "No," I said, leveling my voice. "That's the truth. Finally being treated with the weight it deserves." She fell silent. The camera kept rolling. Her hand twitched near the mic, but she didn't stop me. "You say you want to heal?" I asked. "Then say something without the lens." Her voice cracked. "But I don't know how to be without it anymore." "I know," I said. "That's the tragedy." We sat there in silence. 2 actors with a story neither of us wanted to finish. She finally reached forward and turned the camera off. The red light faded. For the first time in months, so did the performance. Then she cried. No angles. No filters. Just sobbing. Ugly. Broken. Real. You ruined me, she whispered. No, I said gently. You filmed yourself falling, and hit upload before thinking about the landing. She looked up. Will you forgive me? No, I said. But I won't hate you either. Then what happens now? You move on. Quietly. Stop trying to win. Stop trying to be seen. And you? I already moved on, I said. You just hadn't noticed yet. I stood. She didn't follow. As I opened the door, I turned once more. For what it's worth, I said, I do believe there was a time when you meant it. When we were real. She nodded through tears. That's why it hurt so much, I added. Then I left. Back on the sidewalk, I checked my phone. 9:42 p.m. Her Truth premiere never aired. Instead, she uploaded a black screen with a caption. I'm stepping away for a while. I need to find out who I am without the views. The comments were quiet. Curious. Some supportive. Some suspicious. But I didn't read many. I went home. Logged out. Shut everything down. When Maria texted, I only replied. She turned off the camera. Maria wrote back. Good. Maybe now, she can start being human again. And maybe, so could I. It took 2 weeks for Diane's accounts to go completely dark. No reels. No stories. No cryptic reposts. Just silence. Some thought it was strategic. A social detox. Others assumed she was planning a rebrand. But those of us who knew her, really knew her, understood that she wasn't planning anything. She was processing. For the first time in years, Diane had no audience. No trending tags. No analytics. Just herself. And the echo of everything she did to get famous. Meanwhile, I returned to my own timeline. Not the digital one, the real one. Back to editing projects that weren't built on heartbreak. Back to silent film drafts, student documentaries, local business ads that didn't go viral, but paid enough. I even joined Maria's film club as a guest advisor. Quietly. No attention. No drama. Just story. One afternoon, Maria handed me a USB drive labeled, Final Cut, Trailer Girl. I raised an eyebrow. It's not revenge, she said. It's closure. I plugged it into my laptop that night. Inside. Clips of Diane from months ago, raw, vulnerable, unfiltered. Footage that she never posted. Outtakes where she doubted herself. Moments where she looked in the mirror and whispered, I don't know who I am anymore. In one, she even turned the camera off halfway through crying. Then sat in silence. Staring. Breathing. Breaking. No background music. No edits. No masks. I didn't post it. I archived it. Because some stories are meant to be saved, not shared. The trailer I did release was a different one. A personal film. Titled, After the Cut. It wasn't about Diane. It was about silence. About recovery. About what happens when you're no longer watched, but still watching yourself. It ended with a single shot of a phone screen, locked, unread messages, unposted drafts. Then a hand turning the phone face down. Fade to black. I released it on a Monday night. No promotion. It gained traction on its own. No drama. No expose. Just quiet closure. And somehow, that hit harder. People began reaching out. Not for gossip. But to say, thank you. To say, this made me feel okay for walking away too. That's when I realized, my revenge was never about hurting Diane. It was about reminding people like me that we don't have to stay in stories that make us villains. We don't have to keep editing lies into love. Closure doesn't need applause. It needs honesty. But fate had one last surprise. Weeks later, I got a letter. Not a message. Not a DM. An actual handwritten letter. From Diane. The envelope was unbranded. The handwriting unfamiliar. But I recognized the curves of her lowercase g. Inside were 2 pages. No return address. She wrote, I don't expect forgiveness. But I owe you the truth. Not the on-camera version. The real one. She confessed that the prank wasn't her idea, it was Richard's. He told her it would boost her numbers. He dared her to play the cold girl, because audiences eat that up. And she agreed, because she was scared of being irrelevant. Not because she hated me. She admitted that every post after the breakup was curated by a content agency she signed with behind my back. Scripts. Edits. Captions. All optimized. She said she cried the day she saw the real Diane uploaded. Not because it ruined her, but because it reminded her who she used to be. She ended the letter with, If you ever make a film about this, make sure she loses everything. Because she deserved to. But also, make sure she learns. Because she needed to. I folded the letter and placed it in my desk drawer, under the USB from Maria. And that was that? The last message. The final scene. Maria and I never dated. Never crossed that line. She said, "I'm not here to replace someone. I'm just here to remind you not to replace yourself." We kept our friendship honest. We built projects together, short films, script drafts. She helped me rebuild my image, not publicly, but personally. One day, she asked, "Would you do it all over again?" I thought about Diane. The rooftop nights. The quiet confessions. The betrayals. The breakdowns. The trailer. I said, no. But I'd still tell the story. Maria smiled. Then maybe it was worth it. I don't hear much about Diane anymore. She deactivated everything. Rumor says she moved back home. Took a part-time job tutoring media ethics. Poetic, really. Richard? His channel fizzled out. Last I heard, he tried joining a reality show but got rejected after people pulled clips from our saga. Some call it karma. I just call it narrative balance. And me? I still hand out flyers. But now they're for short film screenings. My screenings. The kid who edited other people's fame now builds his own truth, quietly. One project at a time. The final note? One day, outside the old media lab, I saw a girl filming a skit. Tears in her eyes, phone held high, dramatic music playing from a speaker. She noticed me watching and asked, "Do you think it's too much?" I said, "That depends." On what? On whether it's acting or healing. She blinked. Then put the phone down. Sometimes, it just takes one person to remind another when to stop filming. And sometimes, the best ending is turning the camera off.